preliminary meeting instructions.
Yes, Mayor. This is Zoe Burgess, your city clerk. This regular city council meeting of August 1st is being held with a quorum of City of Westlake Council physically in attendance at the Westlake Council Chambers, 4005 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. Public comments may be accepted utilizing the electronic comment card available on the city's website. Public comments are permitted at the appropriate time. The mayor will call for such during public comment, and you may participate utilizing the system's virtual hand feature and waiting to be acknowledged. Please note this meeting is being recorded, both voice and video, and to remember your mic may be live. I will mute any microphones that carry any feedback or interruptions. If you are a caller that has been muted, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Any person in the virtual meeting causing a disruption or being inappropriate will be removed. If I may also remind those physically in attendance, please utilize microphones so that the virtual audience and a clear recording of the meeting is produced. Thank you, Mayor O'Connor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting of August 1st, 2023 at 6:01 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Present.
Councilman Martinez.
Present.
Councilwoman Vallejon.
Present.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand if you're able and join me for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or modification to the agenda? If none, I need a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vallejon. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vallejon.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Public comments. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should have been completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium, unmute your device, and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record. Do we have any public comments?
Mayor, received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hands. Please state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. We have no comments, Mayor.
Thank you. Consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless a council member requests such, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on a future agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
A second.
We have a motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vallejon.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you. We have before us. We have before us Resolution 2023-18, approving the terraces of Westlake Phase 1. City Attorney, read by title.
Yes, sir. A resolution by title only, a resolution of City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving the terraces of Westlake Phase 1 being a replat a portion of Track A, Westlake Pod 1 and Pod J, Plat Book 130, pages 153 and 154. Public records of Palm Beach County, Florida, line in Section 12, Township 43 South, Range 40 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for recordation, conflict, severability, and effective date.
Thank you. This being quasi judicial, let's also go ahead and swear in any witnesses that may provide testimony.
Any individuals who testify during the course of this particular matter, please stand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Herring, you have a presentation for us.
I do, and I'll be brief for the record. Donaldson Hearing with Cutler and Hearing here tonight on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. Of course, Mr. Carter and Ms. Dewey are both here with us tonight. This is a relatively benign modification to the plat that we're just bringing to your attention. This is in relationship to the terraces, which is located on the northern portion of what we refer to as Pod I. location is just east of Ilex and south of the Groves there. So the modifications that have occurred are to the plat are really related to a few limited easements. We needed to provide a few additional general utility easements to serve some of our townhouse units that weren't reflected on the original plat. At the same time, we also added some additional sidewalks to create some additional connectivity as a part of the site plan. What's before you this evening is the changes to the plat. And as you may recall, you approved the site plan, but you approved the first phase of the plat, which is for 109 townhome units. And I'll show you the proposed changes that are proposed. Pot I will contain a total of 250 townhomes. We're actively under construction right now with the site development work. And so we're excited to bring this new product to the marketplace as you're aware. This is the site plan, just to give you a reminder, and the sidewalks that were added are located in between the townhomes. And so we had a few locations where it was every other building before there was a sidewalk leading to the perimeter sidewalks, and they are now provided on every interconnection in between each building. So it just provides extra connectivity for our residents. And again, that was already approved by your staff administratively. We're looking at a minor modification to the plat. Plat is required to meet the technical requirements of the Florida statutes. Your staff have reviewed the plat and determined it to be consistent with the Florida statutes and has determined it to be technically compliant. So specifically, these are the types of easements that have changed, and again, only in Plat 1, which is 109 townhomes. Plat 2 will come back before you in the future. While the site plan's approved, the plat will still come back before you. So in the area that's circled by red, you'll see a little area that's highlighted by yellow. And so those are just some areas where we extended what we call the general utility easement are in front of the homes. That contains your Florida Power and Light, telecommunications, your gas are within that easement. And so before we were looking at possibly bringing it in the road right of way, and we decided to go ahead and bring it within the general utility easement that's in front of the homes. So that's the only modification that you'll see. Visually in the field, you'll see nothing different since those are below grade. And so we're requesting your approval of this modification this evening. And with that, happy to answer any questions that you may have. Mr. Carter might want to say a word.
Mr. Hood, is there a reason those sidewalks weren't all included in the first go around? Is it like an ADA thing?
No, we had provided sidewalks every other group of units, and we decided as we came back to add them
Leave anybody out?
everywhere. So there's greater connectivity. So it's they're not needed, but they provide better connectivity, and so that's why we've added them.
Great. Mr. Carter.
Mayor, Council, for the record, John Carter's Senior Vice President with Minto Communities. I think as Don had mentioned, this is obviously a plan and a plat that we've brought forward previously. And to your question, Mayor, every now and then we get into a circumstance where, the plat can be ahead of the process relative to our overall design and engineering and permitting. And so in this instance, once we got the plat approved, we were already fairly well down the road with a lot of the engineering details. As Don mentioned, as we engaged in it, looked at it, obviously received some feedback from Sid relative to, some utility conflicts and various issues that, the window opened up, if you will. Oh, we had to come back in and do a plat modification. And so that's when, Don said, look, if we're going to do that, let's just go ahead and deal with some of the other cleanup type of issues. So that's what you have before you tonight. I do want to give just a little bit of an update on two items, given where we are down on this particular pod, the northern tip of what I call Pod I. Two things. We have completed all of our contracting. So all the land development and design permitting, everything is set and ready to go. We needed to get hopefully through council tonight with these tweaks, but we're ready to break ground and get rolling. And as I may have mentioned in prior meetings, this will be a different product than what you see in the terraces. There, the terrace homes
Remember
are,
crossings?
excuse me, crossings, thank you. The crossings, which is the pod that we currently have townhomes, this pod will be smaller townhomes. And so we continue to be focused on keeping affordability in the city. And again, I know there's been some work with staff on some tweaks and refinements to the Happy program. So I think across the board, within the construct of Happy today, as well as the hopeful to be situation with some of the tweaks, this is going to be an excellent addition of product to the city. Also, the council may recall, there's a very long lake, what we infamously call Lake 8 with Sid, where there's a fitness trail that's to be located. It's long been discussed, long been on my radar. The short story is we had originally bundled that construction with the amenity contractor, GC. That contractor fell behind schedule, and it just became far more expedient to take this off their plate so they could focus on the completion of the lodge and the phase 2 of the amenity. And so we had to make a change. We changed to a different GC, and the equipment that goes into this fitness trail is an extremely long lead time. And so we've fully contracted it. We've posted all the deposits. All the equipment has been ordered, but it's like a 9-month lead time to secure all that. So somewhat concurrent, if you will, with the development of what you see with the townhome pod, which, you know, we'll start here in hopefully the next 30 to 45 days. And, you know, will probably take us out into the end of the year, maybe early next year, to complete these first phases and open for sale. We will also then hopefully be able to coordinate the initial construction or the starting the construction of the fitness trail that's adjacent to this. So I just wanted to circle back with council and give you an update on where we are with that as well.
Mr. Carter, you're going to build models for these?
It depends on what day you ask me that question. The answer for now is no, but it may become a yes.
And from just the sense of what you described, you're going to pre-build these before you put them for sale?
That's correct.
Complete?
Not complete. What we'll do, and we've started this process with the crossings, getting better, with the crossings. And it was an outgrowth of when we were really having unpredictability in our costs to
Right.
build the units, as well as the supply chain issues and our ability to commit to a delivery date. We began a process where we would start the homes, the townhomes, and get it to a point, but still be able to have customers come in and make all their design selections. But once we got it to a certain point, we had predictability. Okay, from that point, we knew we could get it delivered in X number of months from that date and have clarity on the cost. My suspicion is that's worked very well for us. And so fortunately, we're able, and my company is financially strong enough, we're not going to, I hate to use the word start them on spec, but we're clearly going to start them so that we can continue to have confidence and predictability on delivery and cost. And so we'll strategically manage that process going forward.
So best case scenario, in the most perfect world, when do you actually see them starting to go for sale?
We will probably start for sale in advance of completing our development work and maybe even just to get the first few out of the ground, maybe very early next year.
Okay. And then any clue how much we're going to ask for these things?
We have completed our buyout, our procurement process for all the pieces and parts that go into these units, and don't want to steal that thunder yet, Mayor, but we're very optimistic that it'll be a new price point, lower price point to keep affordability with the community.
Fantastic.
I will tell you this, it will be lower than what you see in the crossings.
And Mr. Carter, has the square footage changed at all? Are we still looking around
1,500.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's a good rule of thumb.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Carter?
I have a recommendation. When you do the fitness trail.
Yeah.
That asphalt is really easy to skate on, so I would just continue the asphalt. The sidewalks, I think I have a few scars from skating on the sidewalks. So
I think we were doing it.
It is asphalt, and of course it goes all the way from Green Lane all the way around to
So it's
Central
the
Pratt
right-
Whitney. So it's a nice long ride. So it's
Right.
Very convenient to your house.
couple times we'll be more than-
yeah,
Any more questions for either Mr. Carter or Mr. Hearing? No. This being quasi, do we need to,
Public hearing.
right, but do we need to,
Yeah.
okay, any conversations we may have had?
I was gonna wait for you to, yes, sir. Now would be the appropriate time to announce any ex parte communications if you've had any.
I asked about the fitness trail this morning, but that's all I did.
No, none.
Okay,
no.
let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have any comments from the public? Madam Clerk?
Mayor received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. There are no public comments, Mayor.
Hey, there being no further comments, I'm going to close the public hearing. And if there's no further discussion, I need a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-18.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilwoman Bayron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We have before us resolution 2023-19, approving the Pines of Westlake Phase 2, which is a subdivision in Section 5, excuse me. City Attorney, read by title.
Resolution by title only, resolution, City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving the Pines Westlake Phase 2, a subdivision of Section 5, Township 43, South Range 41 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, being replat of Tract 5, Pines of Westlake Phase 1, Plat Book 136, page 3 through 21, inclusive, public records of Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for recordation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. All those individuals going to testify during the course of this matter, please be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I do. Please proceed.
Mr. Herring.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Donaldson Hearing with Cutler and Hearing here tonight on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. Mr. Carter and Ms. Dewey are both here as well. We're here tonight to talk about Phase 2 of the Pines. So you have already approved the plat for Phase 1, and it's well under construction, which I will show you shortly. Phase 2 will contain 232 homes. All of the homes within Phase 2 will be 50-foot wide lots as opposed to having the mix. We have the mix in Phase 1, but in Phase 2, there'll be all 50-foot wide lots, and that's to respond to the current market conditions and to maintain and maximize affordability. So as you're well aware, the Pines, which we also refer to as Pod V, is located to the east of River Bend and east of Town Center Parkway and just to the south of the existing elementary and middle school, which is located in an extreme northeast corner of Westlake. So this site is under active development. This is a shot that I think Mr. Carter distributed to us a few weeks ago. So it's fairly current. So you can see the lakes, both in Phase 1 and Phase 2, are actually under construction. You can begin to see in Phase 1 some of the roadways, if you look there real close, beginning to be defined. So a lot of good progress, and immediately to the east is the estate, or Pod R, which is the
Woodlands.
Woodlands. All right. So all of these names, they run together. So pod R2, which is located there. And so that's actively under construction, just about complete. And I think home sites are pretty close to getting ready to start there as well. So this is the overall site plan, which includes both phase 1 and phase 2, in total 446 dwelling units. The lakes that you see there are under construction today. And we're focusing tonight on just phase 2 and the plat, which is before you. This is the plat of phase 2. Again, it contains a total of 232 single-family homes. Those are all 50-foot wide lots, many of them on very large, generous lakes. As you may recall, with the Pines, we developed this a little bit differently from the beginning, with the large water body that circulates along the south boundary, which will separate the Pines from the Oaks. So to the south of us, Pod U will be referred to as the Oaks. And we have a beautiful roadway that runs all the way along that lake, as well as a multimodal path that runs all the way along the lake and then ultimately connects all the way up pretty close to the school at our very northeastern boundary of the site. So that's a beautiful feel along this large road. If any of you have been kind of in Abacoa, some of the roads in the Mallory Creek development were done this way, where we have long linear lakes, and you as you not only walk along there, you get to have that enjoyment, but also you have the roadways that circulate around there. So the lakes aren't hidden behind houses, but really made very much so public to everybody that's there. Your staff has reviewed the plat and determined it to be consistent with the requirements of Florida statute and to be fully technically compliant, and have recommended approval to the council. So Mr. Carter is going, I think, say a couple of words, and so go ahead, Mr. Carter.
Council, Mayor, for the record, John Carter, Senior Vice President for Minto Communities. I have to walk down memory lane for a minute, if you could indulge me, if I may. I had the pleasure of joining Minto literally the day we broke ground on our project called Port of Sol, which is right at State Road 7 and Okeechobee Boulevard. In that community, there were 449 units. How many are in this, Don?
446.
There you go. So Port of Sol. So I joined Minto, and that literally the day we broke ground, we sold the last unit. Now, that was in the depths of the Great Recession, but I want to just give a contrast to the council of some updates I'm about to provide to you. We sold that 449 unit in Port of Sol 10 years after the day I joined Minto. Last month, we sold 40 homes, which marks for Westlake an all-time high. And so, as Don acknowledged, we're here on phase 2. We did not envision on being before you with phase 2 for a little bit of time, but we have seen a noticeable uptick. In fact, our traffic, generally our foot traffic through our sales center is down about 26%. Our sales is up about 46%. And I can go into a lot of discussion, but I won't distract our time here tonight. But Westlake, for any number of reasons, remains extremely, extremely successful. And so, as Don had noted, based on the traffic that we're seeing and with the uptick in interest rates, we try, this is the art of what we do, not the science. We always try to look at the metrics. We always try to look at the macroeconomic and the microeconomic and the local market conditions. And so that really led us over a year ago to come to the decision to bring in the terraces, another lower price point. Here you heard Don, I think, acknowledge another reaction to the market where in phase two, we've made a total shift to the 50-foot product. Again, as you see interest rates go up, affordability becomes key, right? And that has been our secret sauce from day one here at Westlake. So as we have seen that uptick, we're here much sooner than I ever thought we would be with phase two. And you can do the math on 449 units. If we sustain the 40 a month clip, 1 year supply, right? And so there's a pod south of this called the Oaks. I want to steal a little thunder. If you haven't seen it yet, Don has, and is on the drawing board. And I'm telling you, we're ready to go with it. But it's moving at that velocity, and it's just incredible. So I just wanted to give a little bit of color commentary for the benefit of the council on kind of where we are and how we see things, and just the phenomenal success that this community remains blessed in what we're doing. And I'm really proud to be a part of it. And I'm really excited to see this pod come on, because from a site design, we've done some really unique things that I think will really differentiate if you want to buy a home here, unlike anything else you've seen at Westlake. Anyway, I wanted to share those thoughts with you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Carter.
you.
Great, thank you.
And that's really all of our presentation. As John said, it's really exciting, and the Pod S to the immediate east of us is pretty much almost sold out. So this is much needed to continue the development pace.
I didn't see it on the plat, but I know, and I know there's some final details to work out with the school board. But can you talk about how we're going to integrate that multimodal to get people to the school faster?
Well, yes, sir. So if you could look at the white line on the east side of the easternmost lake, that is a large multimodal path. There'll be a point of access that Sid will control kind of dawn to dusk at the very south end, and then obviously control it at the extremely north end. We're currently working with the school board. As Mr. Mayor knows, we've had several meetings and there can be some challenges. But we are trying to develop a way to allow students to be able to come all the way up to that point, either walking, on a bicycle, or on a golf cart with their parents, and then be able to walk into school. Today, here's kind of the absurdity of it. Today, if you live in Westlake and your child goes to either the middle school or the elementary school, it's about an 8-mile trip to get to there
25 minutes each way.
because of all of the circuitous route. And obviously here it's a matter of minutes and you can walk. So it's less carbon emissions, and the school board has to bus, and plus, parents that would take the school board has to bus. So a lot of issues goes into the thought process, which the mayor and city manager and I and the folks of Sid have been working with. We will have some type of a connection. Exactly how it connects to the school site because of security and other issues is yet to be determined, but there will be a multimodal path going all the way up. Of course, that would be dawn to dusk and it would be secure. So at night, it would be secured by Sid, both on the north end as well as on the south end.
It's the multimodal interface of River.
Oh,
Have a slide for that?
I probably do.
There you go.
So
So if you live in Meadows, you could still use this. This is
right, yeah. So there is a multimodal path that will extends all the way out to River Bend. So you can live in any community, take the multimodal paths on either side of the road, come up to here, go through the community and all the way out. So it's been designed to basically, be an amenity for everybody.
Is there a contingency if the school board gets on board to build that multimodal ahead of time?
Oh, I think the multimodal path is going to be built with the development. The only piece we're doing is, can we get a connection directly into the school? Or do we have to connect so that it connects to the sidewalk on 140th as opposed to going directly to the school? So it's a distance of 50 feet of
Would
walking.
that end up being based on that decision at the end? What would that just be, like a site plan revision? Is it on the site plan? Like,
No, it just would be a field as built, field as built. So.
okay, cool. So that's baked in. Fantastic. Yeah, I get asked about that.
All the time. That's such an inconvenience to everyone.
It's crazy, but it's,
Well, and again, this is the art of what we do, not the science. The original genesis for this, kind of rewinding, if I may, Councilman Martinez, it goes back to the litigation with the connection of Persimmon at 140th, which has always been that connection point to go up to the school.
Right.
So as that battle has drawn out now for over 3 years, right, with no end in sight, notwithstanding efforts that me and my attorney continue to, attempt to extend an olive branch to settle those issues. That was the genesis around doing this open space park to get that connectivity up to the school, because that's what's needed by this community. And
Of course.
so the longer that Persimmon 140th debate goes on, I anticipated that this would have just left us hanging in the balance, which is why we again accelerated trying to come up with a solution and then embedded it in this development plan.
Okay. It's great for us here and also the residents to know that it's not something on the back burner.
No.
Constantly working on.
And as Don committed, every bit of this is being built up front. All of that's going to be in before we close the first home.
That's good.
The fact that you're so far ahead of schedule than you anticipated just means that connection is going to be done.
Exactly.
Mhm.
and the lake walk or the multimodal path that goes along that lake, we have extra wide lake banks, and a lot of landscaping on the edge of the water, as well as in the, in that lake bank. So it'll be intended to be a linear park. So it'll be spectacular, and it'll even look better when the oaks are built on the other side, because the architecture of the homes help create space, right? They form space, and it'll just be beautiful. And you'll see the oak lined streets, and then the homes behind them, and the park landscaping, and a lot of the flowering trees we're doing along the lake.
Beautiful.
Sounds good.
Anybody have any questions? Mr. Herring?
Nope.
Ex parte
Yes, sir.
communications, besides the meetings I've had with Don Herring and the school board, I don't think I have had any.
Nope.
Thank you.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, as a point, Sid has been working with and reviewed these as well.
Excellent. Let's open up the public hearing. Do you have any comments from the public?
May I receive no previous public comment cards? We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands. If you wish to make a comment, you may unmute your device, state your name and address. Mayor, there are no public comments.
There being no comments, I will close the public hearing. And if there's no further discussion, I would like to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 2023-19.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Valleron, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valleron.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have before us Resolution 2023-20 approving and authorizing the proper city official to execute the Second Amendment to the Professional Services Agreement between the City of Westlake and Gorin, Shura, Duty, and Ezra. City Attorney, read by title.
Resolution 2023-20, resolution, City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving and authorizing proper city official to execute the Second Amendment to Professional Services Agreement between the City of Westlake and Gorin Sheriff Duty and Ezra, PA, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date.
Thank you, sir. This is the second reading? First reading.
First reading, it's only a resolution.
It's a
You only have
resolution
one
only.
reading.
Got it. questions or comments from the council?
Nope.
Motion, please.
Motion to approve resolution number 2023-20.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baydun.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mike, we have before us resolution 2023-21 approving authorizing the mayor or vice mayor to execute a quitclaim deed conveying that certain real property described on Exhibit A to Minto PBLH LLC. City Attorney, read by title only.
Resolution 2023-21 by title only. A resolution of City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving and authorizing mayor or vice mayor to execute a quitclaim deed conveying that certain real property described on Exhibit A to Minto PBLH LLC, a Florida limited liability company, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date.
I had this explained to me earlier, but perhaps Mr. City Manager or Sarah.
Actually, I'll let Tara start with it. I'll fill in the color commentary later.
I provided your city clerk with a graphic that I think will make this a little bit easier at the very, very, very last minute before the meeting. So hopefully she can, she's great. She pulled it up. Long ago and far away in the platting of the FPL solar field, plat, there was, Town Center Parkway was deeded to the city at that time. We are currently in the process of dedicating the
Excuse
upper,
me.
Minto PBLH LLC, and for the record, my name is Tara Dewey with Lewis Longman and Walker on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. Thank you. I just jumped right in. As we were pursuant to an agreement we had with Palm Beach County, we're currently in the process of dedicating a approximate 100-foot on the east side, 80-foot on the west side strip of land for the future construction by Palm Beach County of 60th Street North. As part of that, we are required to clear any title issues that seem like they could be encumbrances against the dedication to the county. Because this plat creates a question of the ownership as to this tiny little strip. Can you go to the next image I put in there? So you can see exactly what portion we're talking about. The blue area is, well, she's going to switch it to the next graphic, which will show you the little tiny area that we're asking for the city to quit claim to us. So while we think we did not dedicate it and there's not an issue, just for the benefit of Palm Beach County, who likes to dot all their I's, cross all their T's 10 times, we're asking you guys to quit claim any rights you have to the area that may have been dedicated to you inadvertently within the area that we plan to deed over to Palm Beach County for 60th Street North. That's really the sum up of it. It's the northern portion of that area that's in the 80-foot strip that we're dedicating for 60th Street North. So that is the request that we've made. We worked with your city attorney on the conveyance documents, so we ask for your approval of that so we can get that recorded. And we hope to be working with Palm Beach County and get final approval of all of the documents shortly so we can check that box off.
So in essence, we're giving it back.
Am I comment?
Sure. Please.
Looking at this from a legal standpoint, I'm not sure the city has title.
Okay.
So we're not giving it back per se. What my level of comfort is and why we're moving forward with it is a quitclaim deed. So under Florida law, all you're doing is conveying any interest you may have. We're not
Got it.
making any warranty as to title. So we're really eliminating, as Tara said, any interest the city may have in this strip of property to satisfy the county.
Well said.
So not necessarily that we even have it, but if we do have any interest,
Yes.
we're
Correct.
giving it
And
so that you
and
can.
it's an area that's 120 feet by 100 feet.
There it is. It's the little green area right up there on the graphic. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, you guys can have that. Do we have any comments from the council? None. If there's no further discussion, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve resolution number 2023-21.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Bayron. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bayron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. City council comments. Councilwoman Leonard, we will start with you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I have no comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Martinez.
I had comments about the multimodal to the school, but I think we addressed it. We know it's being worked on. Obviously, our residents want it. They don't want to have to drive 8 miles to our schools in the city.
Big deal.
So
Huge
we're
deal.
working on it. It's great to know. Hopefully it comes to fruition sooner than later.
Thank you. Councilwoman Valleron.
No comments tonight?
Mr. Vice Mayor. None. My turn. We broke ground on James Business Park this morning, which is our first industrial e-commerce installation. It's also where the very first Art is Public Places is going to be located. Very, very excited. It's going to bring lots and lots of jobs to our city. It's a huge deal, and there is something very special about what we have going on out here. Our growth is tremendous, but you know, we're doing it. We should be very proud, and the city should be very proud. Aside from that, I'll just thank my colleagues for their leadership and thank staff for all the wonderful and hard work that they've been doing. It's not going unnoticed. Thank you. Let's move forward to staff reports. Either fire or sheriff, whoever wants to go first. LT. How we doing?
Good evening, Lieutenant Robert DiMarzo, Executive Officer, District 18. So it looks like on the agenda, we have the monthly report for June of 2023. Just across the board, crime is down in all categories, so that's good. Construction burglaries are down, which is our major hot point due to all the new construction going on. So that's down. So that's a good thing. Calls for service, excluding traffic stops and things like that. We had, let me see here, 259, and then with traffic stops and business checks was a total of 2,718. So that's actually, I correct that, 3,068. It was 2,718 traffic stops and business checks. So a lot of proactivity is going on out here. And that's basically our update. We only had one arrest for the month, so that's a good thing. The new deputies started August today. So you have 7 deputies under for the city of Westlake, which is great. You got full coverage. So you have 1 day shift deputy, 1 night shift deputy, not one, but you have night shift and day shift are covered, afternoons are covered, and then we have 2 relief deputies as well. So we have a well-rounded crew out there, and we're excited about that. So any questions? Nothing's really changed since last month, but
Get us some soft costs on a motor unit.
soft cost. So I was inquiring about that.
Lower taxes. But I would love to
I'm
know
trying to
for next
figure out
year.
how this works, Mayor. You keep adding things to my budget and you keep wanting to cut my revenue. I haven't figured it out yet.
It's better to know than not to know. So, if we could find out.
So it looks like it's going to be a cost of like a whole deputy because you have to pay fuel costs. They get 2 cars, the equipment, all that stuff. So it's going to be around the same cost as another deputy.
So maybe next year.
Per
we'll have
year.
the money as we can consider
That's the
that.
soft.
Yeah.
It might be a little high.
Fair enough.
That might be a little bit of a high cost, but around that.
Give
not-
us an idea.
Not just the motor. It's not just the motorcycle.
Not just
It's a little more than that. Yeah.
That would be nice.
So
All right. Any questions for LT? Thank you.
All
for
right.
everything you do.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
Have
so
a good night.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping us safe. Chief?
Maybe crime is down because you're new citizens on patrol.
That's right, right? That's right.
Probably.
Yes.
Happy August 1st already. School starts soon.
Mhm.
It's a joy and a blessing for us parents. July was pretty uneventful. It was not extreme high call volume, only 39 turnouts. The most exciting call was a potential vehicle fire, which they cleared in just about 5 minutes, so it doesn't sound like it was really anything. Of all the calls, 23 of those were medical calls. You have an average dispatch handling time of 40 seconds. Average turnout time of 43 seconds, average travel time of 4 minutes and 31 seconds for a total overall average response time of 5 minutes and 54 seconds. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You like
That's
that?
good.
Got that.
I think that's pretty good, yeah. Our goal is to be under 7 minutes, 30 seconds, so
That's
they're
great.
doing pretty good right now. Mhm. Any questions?
No?
No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you for everything you do as well. Mr. City Attorney?
Allow me to say thank you for the resolution, the amendment to our contract. And I use the word our contract. It's not with me. You have the benefit of a 13-person law firm, and we're committed to the future of Westlake as you are.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. City Manager?
A couple of items, Mr. Mayor and council. You should be seeing it before the next meeting, excuse me, the SID office complex, renderings and stuff for the building. The site plan has already been worked on as far as site infrastructure. The building is a steel building. However, the type of building that it is, part of the steel structure is smooth. It almost looks like stucco or concrete panels, similar to what the self-storage unit would be. You know, it has some of that event to it, even though it's an all-steel building. It will be a Cat 4 building, so it will stand Category 4 for hurricanes.
Category 4.
So it will be a substantial building. It's about 9,000 square feet overall. Has office space plus interior storage space plus open bays for equipment and stuff. And that is where part of building department will be relocated and the city functions will be over there as well. We've made enough space for now until we build the next building down in the park area to relocate stuff. Because again, as I've stated before, I never know when Mr. Carter won't be knocking on my door and say, your lease is up. You got 30 days to get out of here. I just want to try to be ahead of him for a change instead of always coming up short. The other thing that you may have noticed already, and they poured it today, was the top of the reuse tank, the 2 million gallon reuse tank Sid is building next to its existing tank. That project's coming along well. So that's moving forward. The other item is, had a meeting with the Palm Beach County facilities people a couple weeks ago. I'm waiting on the agreement language from them regarding the parcel of land adjacent to the SID property out south of the substation, to look at that for a dedication to them.
How's that looking?
I haven't seen their language. Last time their language, I had to do a lot of red ink because they wanted things that I wasn't willing to put forth from SID. Wasn't going to spend SID's money on stuff that they should be spending. We're trying to get that ready at the same time as C2 so that they can take C2 and the fueling facility to the county commission at the same time. Get both of them. They do have the money to start building both District 18 and the fueling facility in their budget now. So we're trying to push it to get it in.
That'd be fantastic. Want that substation.
Yeah. And that's all I have at this point in time.
Good question.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you let us know when that comes before the county commission so some of us can show up or?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
That'd be great. Cool. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment. Section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should have been completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium, unmute your device, and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
Mayor, we received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand or unmute your device, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. Mayor, we have no comments.
Okay. There's no further business. I will adjourn at 6:49 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.